What is a community? Community is a group of people with a common interest. We ordinarily put a border around a community when we think about one, like a neighborhood or a church community. It's always a physical location. But the problem with that is that you can have common interest without the physical location. And the internet affords us that opportunity to do that, to meet people that we hadn't known before who have the same interests as us. And the opportunity to meet people that may share an interest that you think no one else is interested in. One of the first beneficiaries of communities like this were people of alternative religious practices who thought in the area that they lived in that they were the only person in the whole world that thought like this. And all of a sudden you go online and there are hundreds or thousands of people that think just like you. This is wonderful. And you start to talk and you start to make friends online. Can you be friends with an anonymous username? People in academics said no, you couldn't do that because that wasn't what the definition of friendship was. But that's not true, because eventually what happens is those pseudonyms become real names as you get to talk back and forth with one another, and you exchange that information. People are connecting with people with common ideas, common problems, common understandings, common interests across that without ever having to know. Pundits are saying that this is separating us, turning us all into hermits. We go home, we sit on the computer for way too long, and at 1 o'clock in the morning I'm still talking to people. But I don't think that's true. I think it's enabling people who are solitary to reach out and connect with other people that they wouldn't ordinarily have the opportunity to do. I'm not going to go down and walk down to the corner of my street and try to make friends, because I don't live in a place where you could do that. But I can do that here, online. Geneseo has several pages on Facebook, including Overheard At, which I find hilarious. Is that a community of people? Yes, it is. Because those people that are talking may never have been in the same class together, they may not live in the same dorm, but their commonality is that they're from here. And so the conversations are rooted in one community but take place in another. It directly influences what they talk about. But yeah, community can exist anywhere there are people of like mind working towards a cause or working for information or just communicating. I'll use a perfect example from Methods class. The Somali community in Rochester is also the Somali community from Africa. The commonality that they have now is that both groups are Somali, but one of them is here and speaking English. One of them is in Africa and maybe not speaking English. You would think that they would be completely different, that you'd have to divorce yourself from one to be the other, but you don't anymore. You can belong to several communities. The unique part about being human is that we're not one identity. You guys know me because I sit behind this desk or stand in front of your class. But there is so much more to who I am and the communities that I belong to that you guys don't know. It's like taking a gem with multiple facets and holding it up for you to see. And you can see this part, but you can't see what's over here. And when I'm talking to someone else, I'm showing them the back part of the gem with those facets. Can you ever show all your facets at once? I think they put you away for that. Or even attempting to be 40 people at once. But we are 40 people or 50 people. And part of us, especially your guys' generation, has no problem being one of those facets online. It's just another aspect of yourself. Go online and just Google online community. You'll come up with over 100,000 hits right off the bat. Go to some place. In order to do anthropological research, remember you've got a lot of elements to include in here. Mm-hmm. And one of those is the actual participants' understanding of the experience itself. Everyone says, I'm going online. Where are you going? You're not going anywhere. Because that's a barrier to actually going and joining the electrons that are going between your computer and somebody else's. But they conceive of it as a space. You must go into that space in order to do a proper anthropological investigation of what it means to be there. You're going to have self-selected respondents. You're only going to be able to talk to people who are comfortable going online. So you've already got a bias. But you're going to have to do the classic anthropological participant observation. You're going to have to join a community.
I'm Hussie, and I draw for a website called MSP Adventures.
I'm waking up at the start of the end of the world, but it's feeling just like every other morning before. Now I wonder what my life is gonna mean if it's gone. The cars are moving like a half a mile an hour, and I started staring at the passengers and waving goodbye. Can you tell me what was ever really special about me all this time? But I believe the world is burning to the ground. Oh well, I guess we're gonna find out. Let's see how far we've come. Let's see how far we've come. Well, I believe it all is coming to an end. Oh well, I guess we're gonna pretend. Let's see how far we've come. Let's see how far we've come. I think it turned 10 o'clock, but I don't really know. And I can't remember caring for an hour or so. Started crying and I couldn't stop myself. I started running, but there's nowhere to run to. I sat down on the street, took a look at myself. Said, where you going, man? You know the world is headed for hell. Say your goodbyes if you got someone you can say goodbye to.
Talking to one of my internet friends, and he sent me 3 links with the name-only label, Homestuck. I said to this dude, what's this shit? He just giggled and said, just read this, and make sure nobody is around when you're reading it. Then I thought it was some weird fan fiction or some strange shit. But I read the first act, and I was like, yo! I couldn't fucking believe what I just saw! It was like Satan had written a webcomic! Shit was so disturbing, yet I couldn't stop reading it! Oh my god! I ain't going to heaven! I already sold my soul to Hussie!
There's no one in the corner and there's no one at home. Well, it was cool. It was just all cool. Now it's over for me and it's over for you. Well, it's gone, baby, it's all gone. There's no one on the corner and there's no one at home. Well, it was cool. It was just all cool. Now it's over for me and it's over for you. I believe the world is burning to the ground. Oh well, I guess we're gonna find out. Let's see how far we've come. Let's see how far we've come. Well, I believe it all is coming to
Pass around the love.
Let's get this.
It's okay. It's
Let's make this
internal
official.
number. You're creepy. Okay, what do you normally do on the internet in relation to Homestuck?
Well, usually I just read the comic, and I go on the Reddit subreddit for Homestuck, and pretty much discuss theories, look at art, stuff like that with the fans.
Well, normally when I first turn on my computer, just check for updates. Check for updates on the site, then Tumblr, then I'm typically drawing with friends and chatting with people. Nothing too major.
How would you describe other fans?
Crazy. These people, like, find costumes for characters when the characters appear, like, an hour before, and these people make up costumes within an hour and, like, post pictures. It's insane.
There are a lot of really into it fans. I know I'm one of them. No matter what fandom you get into, you always get a couple strange people, and Homestuck is no exception. But for the most part, a lot of the people are really chill and they're really great to talk to.
So have you met any people in relation through Homestuck?
I have not.
Do you want to?
Maybe. Depends. Probably have to be women.
Wait, do you communicate with them over Homestuck though? Like in forums and whatnot?
Oh yeah, I mean I talk to fans through there, but I've never like, I guess, met anyone.
Physical?
Yeah.
I've met a couple people through Homestuck, not a ton, but I do keep in contact with at least like 15 people through Tumblr and PesterChum, which is a chat application alone.
So you've never met anyone face to face?
Actually, I have met a couple people face to face at an anime convention up at Rochester Institute of Technology. There were a couple artists, they were really cool.
How often do you find Homestuck slipping into your everyday life?
Once in a while. Usually only when I'm talking to other Homestuck fans. Like, you know, I'll be like, how was that update? Or I'll make them reference. But never, usually, it's very, very rarely used when I'm talking to
So you can filter it out?
Yeah, it filters.
It's not taking over your life?
Yeah, not yet, I hope.
All the freaking time. There are so many different references that Hussie makes in the comic that it's almost impossible not to notice them sometimes in everyday life. Like, Hussie ruined colors for me. How can you ruin colors? It happens.
Why do you think people gravitate towards Homestuck?
Because it like asks you to draw yourself into the story. It's like categorization based, so it's asking you to say, what would you be if you did this? You know, everyone has an aspect, everyone has a class. Like just picking from those, you have a big list of customizations you can do. Everything's kind of charted out, so you know, it's just you can easily make your character, as it were, using the parameters set in Homestuck.
So you're saying like creative people like it?
Yeah, it's like people who want to make something to put into it, and it asks for that more or less. Like the way the story's set up, how the author looks at fans' reactions and tries to build off that, or like the way fan trolls started getting created because he had the dichotomy of the blood color set down, not dichotomy of the, you know what I'm saying. And so it's just asking people to make things like that.
Well, if you can make it past the first act, which even I admit is hard to get through, it's got really great characterization, if I can speak today. It's got so many different subplots, different characters, and it's making fun of everything. I mean, the trolls alone in Act 5 are making fun of different, like, internet tropes.
Okay, so once again, why don't you like Homestuck?
It's not really that I don't like Homestuck, I just don't care. I guess, I mean, I do have an aversion to it, probably because I'm deluged by it. I get kind of averted to all the hype, you know, from all the hype.
So the main problem for it doesn't come from the comic, but it comes from...
No, and it's not really the people either. I mean, you know, a lot of my friends enjoy Homestuck. I've been to cons, you know, like Toricon. There are a lot of people who enjoyed Homestuck, but, you know, I had no problem with them, but it's just how much I'm deluged with it on the internet.
What do I personally think about Homestuck, huh? I have no opinion at this point. I haven't done enough investigation, but it looks like a classic example of people rallying behind something that they all find interesting.
Yeah.
They're a community of people on Homestuck. Yeah.
Don't read a webcomic called Homestuck! Don't do it! It's like succubus! Remember what I'm saying to you!